Hello and welcome to my channel, The Signs of Tarot. My name is Michele. I am an intuitive tarot reader from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Today I am doing a timeless reading for the collective. It does not matter what sign you are. If you are here, you have stopped by this channel for a purpose. There must be a meaning somewhere in this reading for you. Or if you've stopped by because there's an important person in your life that you're looking to gain some insight, hopefully you'll get some messages there. Again, my readings are timeless. When you are meant to hear these messages, that's when you usually find my videos. And one last thing, I keep it raw and real here. This is No Puffery Tarot. I keep it raw and I keep it real. And sometimes you may not hear what you want to hear, but you will always get the truth from me on these readings. Today I start off for the collective with the Scots Pine. A card from the Wisdom of the Trees oracles, which are all trees and fruits and vegetables and shrubs and plants and hedges, everything connected to our earth. Why do I always start off with that particular oracle? Because it gives me an energy read. It gives me a feeling. It gives me the sentiment for the reading that I'm going to read ahead. Today we got the Scots Pine. I'm going to show you what that card looks like really fast. The Scots Pine is one of the, if not the, toughest woods in the forest. It can withstand thousands of pounds of snow on that cabin and not fall through. It is fire retardant. It is completely water resistant. You see a woodpecker there trying to peck through and it can't even make a dent in that tree. That's how tough these trees are. There's a couple of key elements with this card which I will dive into and talk to, mainly the fireflies that are buried underneath the snow. You see that the lights are illuminating, but they're still buried underneath the snow. Has meaning. You have the 3 pine cones up on the top, which should have dropped off of this tree months and months ago, but they are alive and vibrant and there's new green growth around them, and they are stuck on that tree and they're not going anywhere. Today we start off our reading for whoever in the collective is tremendously in love with somebody and holding back. So as much as you're in love with somebody, you are equally holding back, which is why the fireflies can't melt the snow and reveal themselves. You are hiding your feelings, hiding your emotions. You're burying yourself in the snow. Most of you are probably in a little bit of hermit mode, in isolation, really just keeping to yourself. Those 3 pine cones with the new growth that have not fallen from the tree yet tell me everything I need to know with that card. This relationship is not over. Not by a long shot. And your heart is still beating, although you're hiding every emotion, you're hiding every thought underneath that snow. I get not only solemn from this card, but I get devastation and sadness and disbelief and feeling so alone that the only person you want to talk to is the one person you are hiding back from speaking to. So whoever has touched upon this video for a purpose and a reason, you are here because there's a tremendous amount of messages in this reading that you need to hear. First of all, for whoever's going through this broken heart, I want you to know this relationship is not over. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get back together and everything's going to be perfect like nothing ever happened. But I want you to know that right now you feel so alone, so isolated. You feel that nobody can connect with you, nobody can relate with you. And those 3 pine cones with the new growth tell me there's going to be a rebirth. Not only a rebirth of you and your attitude and the way that you handle things, but there's going to be an opportunity for a conversation between you and whoever you left behind. With the 4 of Wands here in the next to the Lovers, you really thought that this was your soulmate. Okay, with the Scots Pine and that cabin in the middle of nowhere, with the 4 of Wands, it tells me that this was a long-term relationship. You were either married in a long-term relationship, living together, maybe you have kids together, but this tells me this is long-term. Not a month, not 6 months, years, potentially decades of the 2 of you together. And well, I'm just going to dive in. This person, out of the blue, made you second guess everything within the relationship. So with the 8 of Wands, That to me is communication, and sometimes that to me is communication that you receive that you're not expecting to receive. It tells me that you found out a secret. You found out something that was hidden from you. And with these cards here, with the Seven of Cups, and with the Four of Pentacles, and with the chicken, you're the Lovers. I think you found out somebody was unfaithful and had been unfaithful for a very long time. For some of you, not for everybody, they basically had a whole separate life. They may have had children. They had a completely separate persona with somebody else. And now you're sitting back with the Seven of Cups and the Lantern, and you're going back over your mind and going back over calendars and looking at times that you thought they were away on business, or they were away to do something, or had travel plans or plans with friends or family, and they were taking care of a completely separate family. I have the chills right now for whoever this is resonating with. It has made you second guess your entire relationship. It has made you second guess your whole state of mind. It has made you second guess who you are. For those who have just tapped into this reading, I don't believe you just found this out this week. I feel like you have either known for a long time, and you're just coming to terms with the idea that everything you have lived and the time and effort you put forward into this relationship was built completely on a lie. For some of you, the scarier part is that they had this person before they had you. So that person was really the primary relationship, and you, maybe 10, 20, 30 years later, you're just finding out you are the secondary relationship. I think there's kids involved. I think that there are family traditions involved. There's certainly homes, money, finances involved. I see that this person did a lot of traveling, and that could have been who they were, most likely, during your entire relationship, because they were traveling to a whole separate part of their life that you knew nothing about. Oh my God, I have the chills. I'm just trying to breathe right now. For whoever I'm reading for, whoever this is resonating for, you're holding on like a thread, and I want you to know it's going to be okay. At the end of this is the Knight of Pentacles. You're going to pull yourself out, you're going to get on your 2 feet, and you're going to build a whole new life for yourself. There's a lot of money. So money was never the issue of your particular, your partner going away a lot and traveling a lot. Money was never an issue. It wasn't like, wow, we just don't have money for you to go right now. So that added and contributed to the fact that this person had 2 separate lives. I know whoever I'm reading for right now, you feel isolated, you feel absolutely devastated, and you feel like nobody understands. I have here with the Hangman in reverse, with the Four of Pentacles, you hiding your heart, you hiding your thoughts. With the Scots Pine, you're in complete isolation. There's a lot of people you haven't even shared this with because there's an embarrassment, there's a devastation. When you're together with somebody this long, it's not only shocking you, shocking your family, it's going to shock your entire surroundings. 3 of Pentacles typically means a whole bunch of different things in the Rider-Waite, but I'm getting that they gave to 2 people 2 separate families, and they made it work for years. And this is something you probably don't want to hear, but I got to keep it raw and I got to keep it real. The first one knew about you, you didn't know about the second one. So the original spouse knew all about you, knew all about your life, knew when you had kids, knew when you moved, knew all about your life. You had no idea that they existed. You're laying in bed asking yourself, how could a secret like this happen? Life got in the way. You had your own career, you had jobs, you had friends, you had charities you worked with, you had hobbies, you had children, you had siblings, you were an aunt or an uncle to nieces and nephews, you had vacations, you had a whole life. That when you spend that much time with someone, you don't tend to second guess weird things like this. I just pulled out the card Self-Love. You realize that love of self is necessary. My God, is love of yourself necessary right now? You are the victim. You are not the perpetrator in this. For some of you, you moved several times. For some of you, you may have even moved close to the initial partner and never even knew it. Oh my God. Okay, I'm just taking a deep breath on this because I'm feeling a wave of sadness and desperation and anger and resentment that whoever I'm reading for, waking up one day and your life is completely different, that you lived a life of a lie. But I promise you, you're getting out of this with the Nine of Pentacles. Where you are right now, for whoever this is resonating with the lantern and the chicken, is you're running around trying to get every single piece of information. You're spending days and nights on the internet. You're interviewing every friend, every family member. You are researching, now that you know the name of the other spouse or the other significant other and the kids, you are researching. You are spending hours, days, and nights around the clock with calendars, retracing every step for a decade, 2 decades, trying to figure out how on earth could you have the wool pulled over your eyes with this. Like I said, there's a lot of money involved here. So when you have money, you can do things. You can take last minute trips. You can fake things. You can hide things. You can manipulate things. You can blackmail things. Your significant other absolutely suffers a personality disorder. Because I see here in this card with the King of Pentacles next to the Lovers, they somewhat felt entitled to be able to have 2 separate lives and 2 separate families. It was a sense of entitlement. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, you put yourself in the story, but a parent of them showed a lot of infidelity in their childhood growing up, and there might have been some sort of an entitlement or a feeling that they could have multiple lives. The center of this reading, the 7 of Cups next to the 8 of Wands, talks about travel, talks about communication. What baffles me about your significant other is that they had 2 complete, parallel, separate lives happening in 2 separate places. And the amount of communication to make that work and travel. I think you're sitting back saying a few times that you wanted to go on some of these business trips and they made excuses why you couldn't go on these business trips. And just have to take another breath. Vision. No matter what, you see the bigger picture of loving. With that 9 of Pentacles, you're coming out of this. You will come out of this. You're going to come out of this with money, stability, and the grace. Now, some of you are fighting for this relationship. Some of you are leaving this relationship. Either way, you find some sort of a victory. And for the very few, you're embracing this. Getting your kids together so that they can formally meet their stepsisters and stepbrothers. You are embracing that the family has expanded. I don't know if I've ever gotten messages like this in the 25 years I've read. Unbelievable. There's a part of you that is reaching a moment of satisfaction. For whoever I'm connecting with, you are finally, and just work with me on this, finding a sense of peace, because there's a part of you, intuition-wise, that knew something was not healthy and something was not on the up and up for years and decades. And it's almost like with the chicken card, you felt at times you were going crazy. Your heart, your soul, your intuition were telling you, this is not right. How come that particular trip has to be the same time every year? If it's on a business day or a weekend, my spouse has to leave on that day. That's typically not a business experience. They typically, if it's the third week of a month, they typically go around the day, but your significant other, why it was a kid's birthday? He wanted or she wanted to be there on a kid's birthday. Wow. It's almost like you feel a sense of grounding and a sense of peace, a sense of serenity. That all the things that you felt are finally making sense to you. This chicken running around like your head's cut off with a chicken has been going on for a long time. I'm going to take a couple more cards. For whoever I'm resonating with, I will tell you by winter, by January, February of next year, you will have a footing, whether you decide to leave this relationship, whether you decide to stay in this relationship, whether you decide to fight for this relationship, you will come out as the winner with the Nine of Pentacles, for sure. Hearing. The snail is the same shape in a circle as our inner eardrum. So whenever I get the snail, yeah, it talks about slow. It talks about this entire experience has been over years, decades, maybe multiple decades. But the snail represents the inner eardrum. So it tells me that you are sitting back and reminiscing about the things that you've heard, and things are all making sense. And for some of you who have strength and love of self, you are finally putting the pieces together for your own life and understanding, wow, now I overheard that, and I overheard that, and now this is why he or she said that. Excuse me. Or, yeah, you are putting all the pieces together, and you are finding solace in that you're not crazy, that your intuition was on target, that this was happening. Very strange reading. If this resonates for anybody, God bless you. By wintertime, this is going to connect. You will have your day in the sun. You will be able to communicate. You will be able to figure out how you want to move forward, and it will be in your favor. Whatever that means with this. God bless. Namaste.